Well, hello everyone. It's your girl Taya, and it's Tuesday. So I'm back. I know y'all used to seeing me on audio, but I decided today that I was going to try video just to see how this goes, right? Because I noticed that, a lot of people like visual. A lot of people like to see who's talking, what you have on. So what I have on, my Me versus Me sweatshirt. No, this is not an author tee, but it applies to my subject today. All right, so for those of you who this is your first time tuning in, shame on you. My name is Taya, the curator. And this is Taya Tuesday Thoughts, episode 19 on Tuesday, October the 21st, 2025. This episode is called Me, Myself, and I. So for those of you who are just watching me or listening, whatever you want to say, every episode of Taya Tuesday Thoughts, the main topic correlates with a song. And also, every episode is brought to you by Author Tees. I guarantee one of the quotes authored by me will speak to you. That is my graphic design line. All quotes are original on tees, tumblers, and hoodies. www.jugdydzinez.com/AUTHORTEES. All right. So let's get into a few things. As I said, the topic this week is Me, Myself, and I. The Beyonce song, My Birthday Twin, 9481. All right. Also, this week's feature author T, once again, because it applies to the subject, is Ms. Accountable. MS. Accountable. You don't need to know whether I'm married or single. You just need to know I'm accountable. All right. So let's get started on what's going on in this crazy world. Y'all see this great, baby? Ooh, see? That's why I ain't really like doing video, because now y'all get to see my gray. Y'all could have believed I didn't have any gray when I was on audio, but now I'm on video. All right, so here we go. First thing I want to say, because I talked about this last week, unfortunately, the search for 23-year-old Kata Scott has concluded. Now the search is for the people who are involved with her murder. Yes, her remains were found Saturday that just passed, October 18th, in Ada Lewis Elementary, which is an abandoned school in the city of Philadelphia. And ironically, the police had, searched the school Wednesday, I believe, and found, some of her belongings, but didn't find her body. And then were given a very specific tip to go back to that location. Listen, this is a really, really sad situation. It was really tragic. I mean, I was extremely emotionally invested in this case the past 2 weeks. I don't watch the news. I don't follow any of these, pages on the internet that just report crime, all the time. I don't follow any of those pages, right? But every once in a while, there is a case that catches my attention. And this was one of those cases. It's really unfortunate. We don't know all the details of what happened. The suspect has not been charged with homicide yet, because they said they have to determine the cause of death in order to charge him with homicide, but he is being held on $2.5 million bail. It's just really sad. But what I want to say to the city of Philadelphia, stop blaming DA Larry Krasner. Stop blaming Mayor Sherrell Parker. Now, the DA thing is very interesting to me, because let's be very clear. From what's been reported, the case in question where the suspect was let go, he was able to make bail, 10%. And also the witness in the case was unable to come to court. I'm not sure of the reason, so I'm not going to speak on that, but the witness was unable to come to court. So we know, if you watch Law and Order or anything, right? that when someone does not come to court, when a person is given bail and is able to make bail, the person will be allowed to make bail, and if no witness at the preliminary hearing, you don't really have a case, especially if there isn't any other evidence. So I just feel like it's easy in hindsight because of such a tragic situation to say what someone should have done, but if those parties wouldn't have done that, overall, or don't do that on a consistent basis, which is what I'm getting at, then it's kind of it's misguided anger to say, hey, you should have did this. I mean, it's easy to say that now because of what happened, but if that's not an everyday practice, just like all of us, you're not going to think to do that. The other thing I want to say is I've seen comments of like, oh, how come her parents didn't know, if she was friends with this person or this and that? Because she's 23. And we all have been young and young and free, and we talk to this person, or we're friends with this person, or we go out here, we go out there because we're 23, and the world is our oyster, and we're just carefree. And let me tell you, 23, most people didn't never know where I was going. Now at 44, somebody has my location. I tell people where I'm going, at least one person. It's just different. You don't think that way at that age. I know I didn't. I did not. I really did not think that way at that age. And when you hear situations like that, you think just how, dangerous it is to not move a certain way. And I'm not even talking about Kata. I'm just saying at my age, the reason why I move the way I move is because I know that, there's a lot going on out here. You don't know who's who. You don't know who's on the up and up. And just rest in peace, Kata Scott. And to all you people that are trying to clout chase off of her name, stop doing that. Please don't do that. This is not that situation. All right. Yesterday, baby, AWS outage was crazy. I'm like, Alexa, what time is it? Alexa, what time is it? She wasn't answering me. I said, hold up. Why Alexa not answering me? Then it was like a system at the job that went down. Then Amazon was telling me that I wasn't going to get a package to the next day that was literally sitting on my steps. I'm like, yo, this is weird. And then some of my friends in the group chat was like, yo, what is going on today? Like, it's a bunch of outages. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. So, but it just showed, like, how dependent we really are on temptation. How dependent we really are on technology. I'm talking about temptation. Because I was talking about me at 23. Don't judge. But, yeah, it just shows how dependent we really are on technology. Because what if it went down for longer than a day? They're saying, like, millions of dollars were lost just for the small amount of time that the system was down. And allegedly it was because an update was done that went wrong. That's scary. Anyway, rest in peace to D'Angelo. Baby, when I seen that D'Angelo passed away, I immediately said, D'Angelo and Angie Stone in the same year, their poor child. That was my immediate thought. And, he was privately battling pancreatic cancer. So now let me say that, right? Like a lot of times, a lot of these celebrities are privately battling, cancer or anything. Think about Chadwick Boseman, because you won't get gigs if people know you got cancer because people don't want to take the gamble. People will say, oh, well, this person might not be strong enough. Like, I don't think Chadwick would have ever been, T'Challa, Wakanda Forever, if people had known, the people involved with the movie had known he had cancer. That's why he had to hide it. Which I can't imagine having cancer and not, and having to keep it to yourself just for the sake of still being able to get work. Like, that's really a shame. But I do know, like, during the Roots picnic, D'Angelo was supposed to be there, and then it was said that he wasn't feeling well, and he wasn't there. So now we know why. And it's just really sad. One thing I will say about, musicians and artists, podcasters and everything, the one thing you can know when you leave here is that you're leaving a mark. Your music lives on. Any song that he was the lead vocalist on, any song he did a duet on, any song that he wrote. I recently found out he wrote You Will Know from Jason's lyric. With everybody in there, Joe Levert, all the singers, all the male singers who got together, kind of did a We Are the World type song. So yeah, he wrote that song, and I didn't know that until after he passed. So rest in peace to D'Angelo. My favorite song by D'Angelo is Brown Sugar. Not being biased because he said I met her in Philly, but that might help. And then my second one is Nothing Even Matters with the amazing Lauryn Hill. So prayers to his family and all of his loved ones. Nicki. What is going on with Nicki Minaj? It's like, it's like she's sitting at home scrolling the internet, writing down what's going on, and then taking out her phone and saying, yep, I'm going to respond to that. Yeah, I'm going to make that about me. So Keisha, who is Gucci Mane's wife, and Gucci Mane were on the Breakfast Club, right, yesterday. And I'm not going to go all into the discussion, but the discussion was about, Gucci Mane's mental health episodes and how his wife covers him in those moments by taking his phone, deleting apps off his phone so that he doesn't, do something that is clearly because he's having an episode. So when he's not having an episode, everything is okay. But when he's having an episode, she doesn't want him to say anything or do anything that could, damage him in any way, right? Here come Nicki this morning. Oh, Keisha wants to be like me. She been wanting to be like me. She keeps Gucci sedated. I'm not gonna read the whole tweet because I look, and this is what I'm gonna say. If the Breakfast Club ever see this, Lauren LaRosa and y'all, do me a favor. Stop addressing everything she say to y'all. She's getting a kick out of this. This is her inner child showing up. She wants the attention. She throwing a tantrum. And y'all are giving her what she wants when she throws a tantrum. What you should do when somebody throws a tantrum and it works on kids is ignore them. This is her inner child showing up that she has not raised. Because every time Cardi comes out with an album, oh, my album coming out March 26th. Oh, you just start with Cardi for nothing that day. And now Keisha goes on, Breakfast Club with her husband, talking about something very serious, not just in the black community, but in general. And here you are, making it about you. Because you ain't say Keisha was trying to be like you last week. So are you trying to tell us that your husband has mental health episodes? And I'm confused. Nicki, knock it off. All right, y'all. So Ashanti hit the internet with her bathing suit on. And, she's thick. She's gotten thicker. She's had a baby 1 year later. She's older. We're all in, this perimenopause phase where that weight is hell to get off. Okay? Because, yeah, I know. Yeah. So that could be it, could be birth control. I don't know what it is, but I think she looks great. I think she has grown woman weight, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I'm sure her husband loves it because her husband loves her. And I made a joke earlier. I said, I wonder if she's asking Nelly, is my butt getting big? Shout out to Ashanti, though, for being brave enough to hit the internet knowing that she picked up some weight and saying, oh, well. Brandy, 46-year-old Brandy. And Monica might be 45, are on tour. The Boy Is Mine tour, right? Did a show in Chicago this weekend. Something went wrong with the sound, and next thing you know, Brandy left the stage and didn't come back. Brandy left the stage like Judy from Family Matters, who went upstairs and never came back, right? Sorry. And people were like, what was going on? So Monica and Brandy did not perform The Boy Is Mine at the Boy Is Mine tour. Baby, what? So the statement is that she was suffering from dehydration. She had to go to the hospital. Now let me say this. She's a woman of a certain age. Those back-to-back, they probably should have scheduled those shows better. If that's what happened, those shows should have probably been scheduled a little less closer together, because the next night she had a show again. You're 46 years old, baby. You ain't Moesha age. You ain't Moesha age, Brandy. You might want to slow down. Because we remember when Usher had to, cancel a show or postpone a show because of, something similar. Y'all not spring chickens. Schedule those dates better. Now, there are some people upset saying, I want my money back. I waited for this for 20 years to see y'all perform this song together. I mean, again, it is the Boy Is Mine tour with Brandy and Monica, and you don't get to see Brandy and Monica perform the Boy Is Mine. I can understand why people will be pissed, but y'all probably not getting y'all money back over one song. Like, be for real. Be for real. Be for real. I mean, I get it, but you saw 80 other songs from them. You know what I mean? And there's nothing on the ticket that says you have to get to see the performance of A Boy Is Mine. Now, it would be cool because that's the name of the tour, but y'all ain't getting your money back. Charge it to the game. All right. So last week I talked about, Last week I talked about Marc Lamont Hill and Queen Flip's argument, debate, whatever you want to call it. It's crazy, right? Because, the two gentlemen have now worked out their differences, and there's even a clip going around of Queen Flip saying, he went to talk to his therapist and acknowledge his actions, and he was, trying to manipulate the situation because he was upset, And I really applaud him for taking accountability for his part in the situation. But I just want to say it's crazy. You see how I talked about that and I talked about this? There's too many people that will only tune in for the fight but won't tune in for the resolution. Won't tune in for the accountability. Won't tune in for the brother saying he went and talked to his therapist about it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all won't tune in for that. Y'all ask any and everybody, where's the episode of Marc Lamont Hill and Queen Flip fighting? You won't ask for the episode of the resolving. And if you watch the episodes moving forward, those two are even talking to each other differently. That's what we need to see. Okay, we understood. Mark stood up for himself. He's Philly, the whole nine. Clap, clap for that. He stood up for himself. He stood up for all the nerds that feel like people underestimate them. You know what I mean? But we also need to care about the resolution, which is why I address both. Shout out to those gentlemen. Abbott Elementary is everything that is right with the city of Philadelphia. Abbott Elementary went to the Phillies game. I saw people I knew in the crowd. That's how real and authentic Abbott Elementary is. Make sure y'all tuning in, because it will definitely make you love the city more. I went to Orchestra Noir. That is a black orchestra out of Atlanta who's on tour right now. It was Culture 2000, so all the songs were from 2000. There was a saxophone battle. There was someone playing the violin, the Dreams and Nightmares. And I've actually noticed that Meek tagged and said, the next time that I perform this, can y'all do this? Baby, this is why I tell you, you never know who's going to see what you're doing on the internet, so keep doing it. And shout out to Orchestra North. And the maestro was from North Philly. And I knew it. I said, that man is not from Atlanta. That man is from Philly. That man is from Philly. Yes. And as soon as he said, oh, it was great to bring this back home to my hometown, I said, boop, there it is. I knew it. I knew it. Okay. So I talked about A.J. Brown last week, right? I'm not going to talk about A.J. Brown this week because A.J. Brown is happy this week. A.J. Brown got the ball. He had 2 touchdowns, 121 yards. Devontae had 103 yards. Jalen Hurts had a perfect QBR. Only quarterback in the NFL to have a perfect QBR this season. What do you know? The Super Bowl MVP can throw the ball. Are y'all surprised? Huh. When people keep saying, oh, he can't throw the ball. Oh, his arm. Did we not watch him on February 9th, 2025 when the Super Bowl was his arm? Was I alone? Was I the only one that watched that? Did he not win that game? Did he not win that game with his arm? So I don't understand his narrative about him not being there to throw the ball. However, this week, they ain't saying that. Ha! I sounded like Don't Call Me White Girl right there. I don't know. Yeah, because, my voice is a little raspy too. Shout out to Don't Call Me White Girl, though. Killing it on the Joe Budden show. All right, so, and speaking of Eagles, can't leave football alone. The game needs him. BG, Brandon Graham, is back on the Eagles. Now, let me say this. I love BG, baby. Oh, when he retired, I was so happy. I said, he don't owe this city, this team, another game. But apparently, BG doesn't agree. BG feels like he can help the team. BG wants to help the team, and BG said he wasn't ready to retire. Now, I'm going to be a bit of a hypocrite because everybody know I said I was retiring for podcasting. What am I doing right now? I'm podcasting, right? Because when it's in you and you still can do it, you going to do it. So if he feel like he's still in shape to play, he's coming back to play. I mean, we could use the veteran leadership because I don't know what's going on that team. So maybe he might make the difference. I wasn't, when I first heard it, I'm like, why, BG? Why? But now, hey, welcome back. Welcome back, BG. All right, so there is discussion that there will be a possible non-distribution of SNAP benefits in November. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be positive that this will not happen because typically this country can be a lot, but this country typically does not want to see seniors and children go without. And that's what's going to happen if there are no SNAP benefits. And the other side of that is, listen, man, there's a lot of people dependent upon government benefits, right? And it's a mindset, And those people aren't going to say, hey, let me go get a job to feed my family. Insert first verse on what we do is wrong. So I need the government to get it together. Because I don't want to be, I don't want people to be at the market and having to watch their back. I don't want the Instacart drivers to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I had to cancel your order because somebody took your food. I don't want any of that. I'm being positive that it will turn around. I'm being positive that this was put out there as a tactic because, the state is aware that certain things get the needle moving. So I'm hoping that this is one of those things. Reasonable doubt, I don't know what's going on. It's dragging. Tell me who killed Wendy already. I know it wasn't Ozzy. I don't think it was I'm ready to call her Mona. I don't know. The child molester. I don't know her name. I can't remember. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know about Reasonable Doubt. I mean, I'm locked in because I like the show. Shout out to Jax, who's a Virgo like me. Hey, holla. And I love how much they talk about the Eagles. All right. Next thing is... why was Joel Embiid playing in the preseason game? Joel Embiid does not need to play in any extra games at all. Preseason. Y'all really put Joel Embiid in the preseason. Now, what if he had played in the preseason game and got hurt and fell? Come on, man. Come on. You gotta do better. Somebody asked me, oh, how you feel about the Sixers this year? What you think the Sixers gonna do? I said, did anything change? No. So why would I think anything be different? Like I said on GNT Sports Talk way back when, lower y'all expectations for Embiid. Let him surprise y'all this year. Don't expect anything. Let Embiid surprise y'all. This Saturday, Cash Money versus No Limit versus. I'm riding with Cash Money. Because I don't think No Limit got anything for back that ass up. I don't think No Limit got anything for get up booze with the pimped out Gucci suit. I don't think No Limit got anything. Give me a hood rat chick. One that don't give up. I'm just saying. I don't know. On the best song that No Limit got is make him say And then of course, Snoop there, this is for my niggas, that's down for my niggas. What? I got mixed feelings about Snoop being there because when I think about No Limit, I don't really think about Snoop. But Snoop was there. Snoop had an album on No Limit. But I don't know. And don't try to cheat and use no Young Money because No Limit wasn't even around with Young Money, so y'all shouldn't be allowed to use no Young Money, no Nicki, no Drake. You know what I'm saying? No songs with Nicki, Drake, and Weezy. Just straight up, everybody get your roll on. You know what I mean? Manny Fresh. You know what I'm saying? Juvenile. You want it, huh? Like, you know what I mean? That's what I want to see in Cash Money versus No Limit. But I think Cash Money going to win, though. I can't really think of too many No Limit songs that can really bang with, I'm going to say Manny Fresh, because y'all know Manny Fresh did every beat on Cash Money. But baby, I'm just happy that Versus is back. That's all I care about. Versus is back, okay? I've been missing Versus and the chaos in the world. Remember, Versus showed up, right? When the world was in disarray in 2020, pandemic, right? Hey, baby, ain't no pandemic, but the world is in disarray. So, hey, maybe Versus can bring us together again. All right, y'all. So, that is what has been going on in this crazy world. Now, there was something else I had in this that I saved because it kind of ties into my main topic, which is me, myself, and I. So the beautiful Jennifer Lopez, the Puerto Rican Elizabeth Taylor, was on, I saw a clip, right? And I'm only going to talk about the clip, right? Because I am using it as an example for what I'm going to talk about. So J-Lo says she's never been loved properly by any of the men that she was engaged to or married to. And we already know J-Lo been married 3 times. She was with Diddy. Yeah. Now, she was married 3 times. And says she's never been loved, right? And then she said they weren't capable. They weren't capable of loving her the way she needed to be loved. And then she said that she didn't know how she needed to be loved. So I was a little, confused when I heard this, right? Because I said, okay, you've been married several times. Several times you've been married, right? And, but you've never been loved by these men? You don't think that they married you because they loved you? Like, I was really confused by her statement, right? So we're addressing her statement. We're addressing her statement first. My issue with her statement is, where's the accountability? Now, now, some will say she took accountability because she said, "Oh, I didn't know how I needed to be loved," right? But if you don't know how you needed to be loved, how could you say that they weren't capable of loving you the way you need to be loved? You didn't even know how you needed to be loved to tell them how you needed to be loved, or to say, "Oh, I shouldn't marry this person because this person isn't loving me the way I need to be loved." So at that point, you have to look at yourself only. Because it's not about their capability. Right? Because the way they were loving you may have been good enough for someone else, right? And probably is now. But it wasn't good enough for you because you didn't even know how you needed to be loved. And the question that remains to be seen is, why were you getting married to people who you didn't feel was loving you correctly and you didn't know how you needed to be loved? Did you just love marriage? Because it's given that you just love marriage. Maybe that was the thing. But again, this ain't really about J-Lo. That was just my thought when I heard what she said. And I may not be saying it, verbatim, but that is basically. And then her first husband was not here for it. He said, no, you cheated, you did this and that. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? And then when he came out with the statement saying that she cheated, I was like, yeah, because she wasn't really in love with you. She didn't know how to love, and she didn't feel like you knew how to love, and that's where the cheating came from. By no means am I justifying that as an explanation for why the cheating, why she did what she wanted to, but, because I always say the only reason people cheat is because they want to, but then there's a reason why they want to. You know what I mean? And her reason was, I didn't love you. I didn't feel like you was loving me, and I didn't know how to be loved. See how crazy that sounds? But again, let me say this to y'all, right? Because this is about me. Me, myself, and I. This is about me, myself, and I, right? There's a lot of sides to me. And, lately, I've been up and down. I've been up and down, okay? Because I'm a woman of a certain age, right? And I've been through a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of shit with men. I've been through a lot of shit with my father. You know what I mean? I've been through a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of shit with friends. I've been through a lot of shit with myself, right? Listen, y'all. This is about me, myself, and I. Like my author T, Miss Accountable. I'm holding myself accountable for how I've been feeling. First of all, like I said, I'm a woman of a certain age. And you're a woman of a certain age, listen, baby. The mood swings, the up and down. Saturday I woke up in the morning. I felt amazing. I was vibrant. I was hype. I'm going to breakfast. I'm going to be a massage. By the time I got to the notary, my mood was completely different. And I said, yo, this right here, this ain't it. This ain't it. I can't. Like, I can't be feeling like this. I can't be this up and down. Like, what is going on? Right? And I'm a person, like, I try to figure it out. Like, yo, what's going on? What's wrong? I sit down. I sit with my thoughts. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm like, yo, I'm going out. I'm going to go to this event. You know what I mean? I'm going to have a good time, and I'm going to go myself, right? One of the reasons why, certain seasons I go places by myself is because I don't always know what my mood is going to be a lot of times, right? And if I am, like, not in the greatest space, I don't really want to be around anyone, right? So, like, if I go to an event and I just start not really, really feeling good, I could pick up and leave if I'm by myself. I can have a moment if I'm by myself. But when you have other people with you sometimes, it's like, the expectation is for you to have this energy and be on 100, right? But that ain't always the case. That ain't always the case with me these days. And I just really do enjoy my own company, because if I don't enjoy my own company, why would anybody else, right? And then, it's certain things that I'm interested in that other people may not be interested in. And sometimes, I just wake up and be like, yo, I don't feel good today. I'm going to this event. I'm going to here for dinner. You know what I mean? And it's not even a thing where you're like, oh, let me call somebody. It's like, no, I'm just rolling. And I do that a lot because my mood is up and down. Like, it's not on no bipolar or nothing like that. It's like, my body is going through changes. It is what it is. There's no other explanation for it, because on Saturday, nothing happened for my mood to totally turn like that. So, I call this Me, Myself, and I because there's a lot of sides to me. Me, myself, and I, right? And when it comes to anything, who is responsible? Me, myself, and I. When it comes to my bills, who's paying them? Me, myself, and I. When it comes to, having to be accountable for mental health, who's accountable for my mental health? Me, myself, and I. Right? when I get into situations that I know are not beneficial to me in any way, who is responsible? Me, myself, and I, right? And there's a lot of people who can't ever, that's never the answer to their question. That's never the answer to their question. You want people to be accountable, they look at you like you're crazy, right? But that's why I got my shirt, Miss Accountable, because I'm always accountable. It's always me, myself, and I, so it can stop being me, myself, and I. Because if you can't say, it's me, it's going to always be you. Did your blockers fumble the football, or did you fumble the football? In that analogy, I will always say I fumbled the football. I do not blame the blockers, because then I would keep fumble the football, and I'm trying to go to the Super Bowl. Now I'm talking about, I'm trying to win the Super Bowl. Now I'm talking about in life. You can't win the Super Bowl in life blaming the blockers, because the next time you gonna fumble again, because you can't recognize why you fumbled the first time, why it shouldn't have been dependent upon the blockers. That's how I operate, right? But back to what I was saying. I do a lot of things alone. Me, myself, and I. I enjoy my own company. I enjoy being in my thoughts. I enjoy being able to do what I want to do. You know, I take a trip every year to AC, for a couple of days, right? And I just do what I want to do. Now, this year I let my girlfriend go because she understands that I'm going to do what I want to do. And she let me do what I want to do. She let me have my own room, and she had her own room. And, I had the company when I wanted to, but I still had a lot of alone time in that room, right? I enjoy my own company. And a lot of times when I'm going somewhere or doing something, and it's like, oh, well, why'd you go by yourself? Because if I go by myself, it's for a very specific reason. Because I enjoy my own company. All right, so that's why I wanted to start out with the me, myself, and I, right? That's what that means. Me, myself, and I is all I got in the end. And from now on, I'm going to be my own best friend. See, when Beyonce said, me, myself, and I is all I got in the end, and from now on, I'm going to be my own best friend, I said, she's spitting. Y'all know that's my twin. We born the same day, 9481, right? And why I say when you say I'm going to be my own best friend, let's talk about what that means, right? What is a best friend? Best friend is loyal. Best friend wants the best for you. You know what I'm saying? That's how you be your own best friend. You're loyal to yourself. You don't betray yourself. You don't betray yourself. To be your own best friend, you don't betray yourself. You show up for yourself. You want the best for yourself. That is being your own best friend. And that is what I have to get back to. Because I've fallen off somewhere. I can't really figure it out. You know what I mean? Like in September, I'm celebrating. Everybody's celebrating me. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. You know what I mean? And it's a distraction because, it's a happy time. You're being celebrated. But when that's over, now I got to deal with the fact I'm 44. Now I got to deal with my real life. Now I got to deal with this up and down, emotions and everything that I'm feeling every single day, from the past, from the present, from the future. What's it going to be? It's insane. It's a matter that I can do anything, that I can work every day, that I can go anywhere with anybody, that I can do anything, that I can do this podcast. But at the end of the day, all I have is me, myself, and I. And when I say that, I'm not saying that I don't have friends, I don't have family. I got amazing people in my life. I got an amazing support system. But at the end of the night, when I get in that bed, when I'm in this house, when I'm on my couch, when I'm doing whatever, the only person that's here is me, myself, and I. When I look in the mirror, all I see is me, myself, and I. That's it. That's all I got in the end. That's what Beyonce said. That's all I got in the end. That's what that means. It don't mean you don't have other people. But it means in the end, all you got is you. All I got is you. When I leave here, it's nobody coming with me. It's nobody coming with me when I leave here. It's people here for me while I'm here, but there's nobody coming with me while I'm here. When I leave here. I don't know, y'all. It's just crazy, right? Life is really crazy. You know, you got the outside world and everybody around you, and then you still trying to take care of yourself and do everything and keep up on your health and you know, keep up on your mental health and eat this and food is high and bills is high. I mean, it's just a lot, right? And I'm responsible for a lot. And it's been this way almost all my life. I don't know what it feels like to fall back and be caught in a household. I make every decision. I gotta protect myself. I gotta provide for myself. I gotta feed myself. I gotta pay every bill while still trying to keep up with everything else and everybody else. I don't miss a birthday. I don't miss nothing. I don't know how I do all this stuff at the end of the day. But it always come back to, it's just me, myself, and I. You know, I've been dealing with a few things. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk about those things because it's my podcast and this is what I'm going to talk about. So, I've been talking, okay. I haven't shared this on any platform, right? It's almost been 2 years since my father and I have been talking. And that's difficult, right? It's difficult. It's difficult. You know, that's my father. I'm his oldest daughter and, you know, his firstborn, and it's been difficult, right? And for those of y'all who don't know, just quick, I didn't really grow up with him. I grew up with him till about 5 years old. And then one day he said he'd be back in 2 weeks. I didn't see him for 10 years. And, you know, whatever. So we've been off and on ever since, right? Now, this situation occurred. And it was just like, it was wild, right? So when I went to therapy, I told the therapist how I had an issue with how my dad would always tell me how he helps other people. But when I even mention something, not even asking him for anything, but just in conversation, saying something that's going on, he immediately shuts down helping me. Oh, I would give it to you, but I gave it to this person. Oh, I would give it to you, but I, you know, and it was just like, yo. And the therapist said the next time that he does that, call him on it. Right? Now, this had been some while, because another time I'll tell you about what happened with the therapist, right? But he was like, you know, you got to set boundaries. So I'm like, okay. So I was having a conversation with my dad. He said something about me coming to visit him, right? And I was like, yeah, I've been looking at the flights. They're like $400, you know, whatever. And he was like, well, I don't want to see you on Facebook in your nice clothes partying and you can't come to see your daddy. So I'm like, my daddy can't help me come see him? He's like, oh, I'm on a fixed income, this and this and that, and I had to do blah, blah, blah. And I said, listen, I don't need every time anything is mentioned, this was my moment. I don't need anytime anything is mentioned, you're bringing up what you did for other people. That doesn't make me feel good. That makes me feel like I'm last. Well, you're not last. I said, I didn't say I was last. I said, it makes me feel like I'm last. So long story short, what happened was, we were talking on video chat, and he was at his friend's house. So he says that I embarrassed him by having that conversation while he was there. Now, mind y'all, he know where he was. He started this conversation. Now, I can admit that, you know, I was annoyed, and I did take this moment to set that boundary that I was told to set because that was something that bothered me. We have not spoken since then, verbally. Now, me being the bigger person, I have reached out for 2 Father's Days. He has not said nothing to me on Mother's Day. He has not texted me happy birthday. This is the second year. My father has not said happy birthday to me directly. Now this year, he commented on a post that my sister put up for my birthday. Beautiful picture, happy birthday type. That That is not how my father is supposed to tell me happy birthday. Right? And I stand alone because, most people say, oh, well, that's your dad, and that's your parent, and this and that. Yo, I'm tired. I'm tired. If y'all listen back to the episode of 20s, you know what I said. I wasted most of my 20s chasing a relationship with my father. The same way I chased it with men. And every time, I had a falling out with my dad, I would start chasing a man just to replace him. That was my M.O. So going back to what I said about J-Lo saying she felt like she never was loved properly. I don't feel like I ever was loved properly, right? But I don't blame any of the men for that. I didn't even require to be loved properly because the only thing I cared about was replacing my father. If the only thing I cared about was replacing my father, I don't give a damn how somebody's loving me. I'm just happy that there's a man in this space. So whatever he's doing is cool. I've had people tell me they love me. They in love with me. I've heard that many a times. And I'm not going to say that they didn't love me. I'm just going to say that now at 44, I know that wasn't the love that I needed. But I didn't know anything else. I couldn't recognize it as not being the love that I needed because I wasn't even looking for that. I was looking for a placeholder for my father. And that is why I had to say to myself, you cannot do this anymore. You gotta be your own best friend. And in being my own best friend, I had to pray that one day he will come to me. One day he will come and say, you know what? I don't like the fact that me and you have not been talking all this time. I want to work on this relationship. Yada, yada, yada. He has to come to me. Now, people will say, oh, but what if something happens? What if something happens to me? There is no guarantee that I'm going to outlive him. I've had multiple acid reflux attacks where I thought this was the end. So what if it was? Then what? Every single time that I have had a falling out with my dad, the only reason we reconciled is because I went to him. I am not doing it anymore because it has an effect on how I move in romantic relationships. I said to somebody, I wrote it on my note. I said, when you start dealing with somebody, the trauma that you thought you missed will come up. So dealing with somebody, me and my father not speaking, brings up that old trauma of my dad ignoring me, of my dad being dismissive when I express my feelings, right? And I start to allow that behavior from a number of people because that's what I'm used to, or that's what I was used to. And baby, I thought I was past all that. I thought I was past letting people do that, right? I really thought that. I am not. Because people are still doing it. People are still doing it. So that's why when I said I was going to do this episode, I said, you know what? Beyonce had the right idea. Me, myself, and I is all I got in the end. And from now on, I'm going to be my own best friend. I'm not going to keep betraying myself by chasing people who have made it known you don't want to be here, who can go on with your life with people who did you dirty and not speak to the person that was in your corner. We're not going to go into all that, but that's part of what happened as well. I was there for everything. Everything, including what this person that you would rather be around and up under every day did to you. I shouldered all of that. And you're not speaking to me? Because I set a boundary? Because I held you accountable for something that was hurting me every time you said it? And people don't understand. That's why I say, all I got is me, myself, and I in the end. Y'all don't got to understand. This is me. Nobody knows how long I've been on this journey. And I realized that once again, my father, the relationship with my father is still in my joy. So that's why I got to now be my own best friend, because I am betraying myself. And when your best friend does not betray you, you wouldn't call that your best friend if your best friend was betraying you. So that's why I got to be my own best friend. I got to be my own best friend, because most people do not understand me. Most people don't understand why I want to go places by myself. Most people don't understand, why I'm still single, or why would you, be involved in a situation that at this age that, doesn't necessarily involve a commitment. Why would you do that? Because right now, I'm still figuring out how I need to be loved at 44 years old. So I didn't have a problem with J-Lo saying that. I got a problem with her putting it back on the men, because I'm not putting it back on the men. I'm not even putting it on my father. I'm putting it on myself, because I am the one that allowed the lack of relationship with my father to control how I was loved by other men. That is on me, myself, and I. Y'all ain't never going to get better. Y'all ain't never going to have quality relationships if you can't say, it's me, myself, and I. If you can't say that, if you can't spend time with yourself, you always got to be around other people, you are not going to have a quality relationship. I eventually am going to have a quality relationship as a whole type, as me, myself, and I, because that is what I want. But until I feel that I am there, I am not going there. I am going to continue to happily date. I'm going to continue to be in a situation. You want to know why? Because when I do get in a relationship, I'm going to know how I want to be loved. And I'm going to be loved how I want to be loved, because I'm going to be able to communicate that, right? I'm not going to have a man to be a placeholder for my father. I'm not going to do that anymore. The daddy issues is buried. I wasted my 20s on chasing my father and chasing men simultaneously for the reason. If my relationship with my father was better, I don't think I would have did a lot of things that I did. And that is not, once again, I'm taking accountability for that, because I allowed that. See, when you can't use the word allow, that means you don't take accountability. I take accountability for that. Me, myself, and I. From now on, I'm going to be my own best friend. I'm going to treat myself right. I'm not going to betray myself. You know what I'm saying? It's about me. Me, myself, and I. What I want to do that makes me happy. I went to the Orchestra Noir on Saturday. I'm going to see The Last Dragon in New York this Saturday. I'm going to the Michael Vick and the Norfolk State and Delaware State game on Thursday. I'm getting me a costume and going to a Halloween party. Listen, I am living my life. I am going to be my own best friend, right? Unapologetically. And I ain't used to like that word, because I don't like anything that says, not apologizing. I don't know. Weird Virgo vibes. But I'm going to be my own best friend. I am. I don't want to do something, I'm not doing it. I want to do something, I'm going to do it. I want to be involved with somebody, I'm going to be involved with them. I don't want to be involved with somebody, I'm not going to be involved with somebody. I want to do business with somebody, I'm going to do business with them. You know what I mean? It's a lot of shit that went on. I got burnt for my birthday pictures. I never got my edits after I paid for them. And the person just completely ghosted me. Now, I'm not a person that just going to throw, somebody's name out there or whatever. It's not even matter. It doesn't matter. I just will never work with that person again. You know what I mean? I got ghosted in business. No explanation for what happened. So it's been a lot of stuff that I just been letting slide, that I just been carrying, right? And it just made me realize that all I got in the end is me, myself, and I got to be my own best friend. I got to protect myself Shout out to, yeah, my best friend. Don't play. Got my location. You better not say nothing wrong to me. I gotta treat myself how she treat me. Period. That's it. So now I gotta be my own best friend. And starting today, that's what I'm gonna be. Me, myself, and I. From now on, I'm gonna be my own best friend. And like the sponsor Author T, Ms. Accountable, I am accountable for being my own best friend. I am accountable for not letting certain things bother me. I'm already going through a hormonal imbalance, right? I don't need to add anything else to that. I just don't. And I'm not going to. So anybody that hears this, now you know what happened with my dad. Now you know what happened with my pictures. Now you know why I go places by myself. Because I'm in that space. I enjoy being around my people and all that, but I enjoy going places by myself more than anything. Because if I choose something that somebody don't like, I don't gotta hear how they don't like it. If I don't want to stay somewhere long, or I want to stay somewhere long, I can stay as long as I want and leave when I want to. That is my freedom. And sometimes I want that. Sometimes I want that. So sometimes no. I got a million friends. I can ask anybody to go anywhere. If you see me go somewhere by myself, it was intentional. And like I said, sometimes I just pop up and go places. But like I said, I'm not negating J-Lo, but when I heard that, it resonated with me because I feel the same way. I just will not say that people were not capable because, and not at this age, because I realized, how can you say what somebody was capable of when you didn't even know what you wanted? You didn't even know how you wanted to love. I didn't even know how to tell somebody to love me. I didn't. So when they said, oh, I love you, I just accept whatever love looks like. I just accept whatever love looks like. That's what I did. Oh, yeah, they must love me. They ain't leave. Baby. Because my father once told me he loved me and he left. These people told me they love me and they ain't leave. Well, some of them. So, yeah. And I'm not one of them, oh, my dad. No. That's on me. I allowed it. I am a grown woman. I will not blame my choices on anyone except me, myself, and I. All right, y'all. This was my first episode on Riverside. Shout out to Nah, who introduced me to this app. Yeah, we're having an event November 29th to talk about being my own best friend. Guess what? Best friends celebrate each other. I'm celebrating myself in everything that I have accomplished thus far because guess what? I'm lit. I'm lit, baby. Listen, your girl is back. I'm back telling y'all that I'm lit. Yeah. Go best friend. Go best friend. Go best friend. But the event is on November 29th. Doors open at 6 p.m. It's a game night celebration. Like Who Line is in Anyway / Wildin' Out. Tickets $30. All black attire. 1890 Woodhaven Road in Philadelphia, PA 19116. I hope to see y'all in the building. And make sure y'all follow Author T's tumblers, and hoodies. And this week feature Author T is Ms. Accountable. Follow me on Instagram, JUSTTYABRANDLLC. Go Birds 5 and 2. I ain't trying to hear nothing. And them bum ass midgets, we coming for y'all after y'all gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter. We owe y'all. We owe y'all. We owe y'all. It's always Bird Gang, no matter what. I said what I said. Because yes, I am a sports chick like my other Author T. But guess what? I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope y'all learned something. I feel amazing. I feel amazing after I said all that. You know what I mean? After I talked to my best friend, I feel amazing. So let me tell y'all, I may be using this platform because, I feel good looking at myself talking. You know what I mean? Looking at myself and me, myself, and I in the mirror. All right, y'all. So, yeah, that's a wrap. Titus Tuesday Thoughts, episode 19, Me, Myself, and I. Peace.